Please work. Okay. Let's see. Forgive me, guys. The stream just started. I know, but no. Yeah. Okay. Now it should work. We only have one audio thing on. So testing. Okay. Now it should work. We only have one audio thing on. So testing. And we're in business. My stream on my phone is a bit behind, so forgive me for that very awkward long pause. But howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Let me make my screen just that bit smaller because you really don't need to see me that much. But yeah, howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Today we are doing a live stream. It has been a while since we did something like this. So yeah, I have missed you all desperately, very, very desperately. But it's all I can say to excuse my absence or like to explain my absence is that I've been busy. I have been real busy, like no one's business. So yeah, I figure let's not waste any time and get into it. So you guys know usually, as much as I like to try my best to, every year I like to talk about, the top 10 movies, top 10 best animated movies, top 10 movies I'm looking forward to next year. What are the best movies of this year? What are the worst movies of this year? Ranked to best, so on and so forth, top 10, all that stuff. And as you may have seen, I did not do that this last December. Again, time issues. So I figured, hey man, the Marvel video, the Marvel, the Marvel ranking video went so well, the Marvel live stream went so well, why not do that again? Why not give it another shot? Why not give it another chance? Let's try and rank everything as well. Except this time, it's a bit of a twist. This time we're ranking every movie and show I saw in 2023. From worst to best. This is the tier list I made for it. This is a custom-made tier list I made on my own. Because all the other tier lists I tried to look for, where it was like, hey, what's this? This is every movie and show I watched in 2022. This is what I liked about them. This is what I didn't like about them, so on and so forth. They don't exist. All of the custom ones I found are always one-offs, private ones. So none of them were for public use. So this one I did make for public use. So please do use this to your heart's content. If there's a movie or show I missed here, add it. I'm not going to add it for you. So add it yourself. But yeah, this is the list. These are the tiers I picked for it. My favorites, genuinely great, fun but flawed, mediocre, mid to mediocre. So it's in that realm. Utterly underwhelming and astonishingly awful. These are the different tiers these movies and shows shall fall into. I'll give my thoughts on them, of course, as we go along. There doesn't seem to be that many here. I hope it's not that many. I didn't goof up when it came to the math. I'm seeing I accidentally repeated one here, but that should not be a big issue. So yeah, today we're just going to be having a normal stream chat, essentially. We're going to be talking about what movies I liked, what movies I didn't like, who I think should have won the Oscars. And yeah, we're just going to have a bit of fun with it. Now, I will say, before I go into this, because I know people are going to judge me on my tastes to the max. Yes, I know my tastes are awful, which is why I have this tier, my favorites. My favorites are my favorite movies and shows that came out last year. And even though some of them may not be good or some of them may not be well liked, they are my favorites and I do cherish them. However, we have the genuinely great tier. This tier is meant for the objectively good movies and shows that did come out last year. And I do feel like they do deserve their credit. And even though they're not my favorite, I can acknowledge that they were made well and that the public is right in liking them. However, I said this is my tier list. This is my tastes, which is why the top tier is my favorites. And it's also the one that does not have an alliteration to them. You see G, G, F, F, M, whatever. UU and AA. This is the only tier that does not have an alliteration to it. So again, these are my tastes. Do not get on my head about this. Let me just make sure the audio is good before we jump right into it. Hello, testing. All right, testing the audio and then we jump into it. Again, these are my tastes. Do not get on my head about this. Let me just make sure the audio is good before we All right, audio is great. So far, no one in the chat, so I've just been talking to thin air. Wonderful. You love to see it. People will jump in when we're in the heat of things. All right. So starting off the list, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Y'all know I could not start this list without bringing this movie up. Actually, I need the extra tier. I need one more tier just for currently ranking, I feel. Oh, let me make sure the stream is up to date on my phone as well, so I do not miss the live chat. Y'all know I love hearing you guys' input, so let me make sure that's also set up and ready to go. Okay. So, starting off the list, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I don't think there needs to be much said when it comes to this movie. You all know I've already talked to death about it in my review. You all know I already think it's one of the most important superhero movies we've gotten. Not just important superhero movies, but also like animation in general. You all already know it's my favorite movie of the year. It was already slated to be my favorite movie of the year the minute it got announced. And yes, I do know this movie did not come out perfectly. I know there was a lot of behind the scenes drama. I know that the animators were overworked. A lot of them had to actually quit because they just couldn't keep up with the workload. And to all those animators, please know you have my sympathy. Art, especially good art, should not be hard to make, or at the very least, you should not have to suffer to make good art. But sadly, that does seem to be the reality of the situation. Because I was even looking at like other animated movies in the past. A lot of those animated movies were made because of suffering or because they were looked down on. Like The Lion King, for example. The Lion King was made by Disney's B team. That movie was made by the animators who are not considered good enough to work on the A team movies like Pocahontas, which is honestly hilarious to me. That Pocahontas was like the movie Disney was planning to like pour all their money into, and it failed. And Lion King is one that won. Honestly, beautiful karma there. But then you have the same situation with Shrek as well. Shrek and Prince of Egypt. Both of them are masterpiece movies, by the way. Like, I love both Shrek and Prince of Egypt. But like, the people who failed to work on Prince of Egypt, or like who weren't meeting their quota to work on Prince of Egypt, were moved to work on Shrek as a punishment. And that's mostly because Shrek was a CG movie, so it was harder to, work with at the time than Prince of Egypt. And it's just a mess. So I also see the same situation happening here with Spider-Verse, where the animators were overworked. Apparently it took 4 years to animate the chase scene. And then they were working up until 3 weeks before the movie came out for them to like actually finished with the final product. And on top of that, there was also sound issues in the movie. It was a mess. The production behind this movie was a mess. But I am glad that the movie did come out as well as it did. This thing is a masterpiece. Animators out there, who, especially the ones who worked on this movie, please know that your efforts did not go to waste. I absolutely love this movie. It's my favorite. And I will die on this hill. I will talk about it when we get to The Boy and the Heron, but I will die on this hill. This movie should have won the Oscar. I do not care what the critics say. I don't care what their thoughts were when they first saw this movie. This movie absolutely deserved it. Just on the animation alone, just on the basis of animation alone, this movie should have won. This movie has like 5 different animation styles, and Boy and the Heron only has one. We'll get there when we get there. But of course, my favorite. I think this one just goes without saying. Next up, we have Nimona. This was also another movie that just went through production hell. It was originally Blue Sky's movie, and then it kind of got cancelled when Disney bought Blue Sky. So this was like the last movie they were working on. This movie was like 70% done through production, if I'm not wrong, before it got cancelled. But of course, another studio picked it up. I can't remember, was it Air Dance or something? Rain Dance, who picked up Nimona. They finished the movie, and then we got it last year. And then for some reason, Netflix has aired the entire movie out on YouTube. For some reason, like this movie got nominated for an Oscar, so it wasn't like it was failing. And Netflix just posted the whole movie on YouTube, just like that. Sure, man. Sure. So yeah, Nimona. I like the movie. I think the animation is good. The character designs could use a bit of work. Like aside from Nimona and Ballista and maybe Ambrosius, like the character designs in the movie are just not great. A lot of them look bland. Some of them, like the villain, just look unfinished. But overall, the animation is good. It's fluid. It's very colorful. I think it's nice. I think the relationship between Nimona and Ballista is cool. My biggest issue with the movie, though, is Nimona herself. I do not like Nimona. I hate how she's going on this whole rampage of like, people hate me because I'm a monster. It's like, girl, you're giving them a reason to. You're talking about death and killing and like, you're being the horrible person that they fear you to be. I don't know, it's just me personally. The execution of the message as well, I don't think it was great. Like, I like the message, I'm just not a big fan of the execution of it overall. But I do think Nimona is a good movie, all things considered. Do I think it's worthy of its Oscar nomination? Look, man, I really do not care what movie was or was not nominated for the Oscars as long as Spider-Verse won. And because Spider-Verse didn't win, I'm numb to the pain. I just do not care. Nimona overall is a fun but flawed movie. Another fun but flawed movie is... Why are you moving around? Elemental. This is Pixar's latest movie and the one I was very excited for last year. I remember when this movie got announced, I was just jumping up and down in excitement because, hello, it's a movie about elements, water, earth, fire, air. yeah, you can tell I'm a huge Avatar fan. Which I was also supposed to do a review of the Netflix Avatar show. I haven't. I'm sorry, guys. That's my fault. My bad. But Elemental. I think Elemental's a really cute movie, especially as a romance movie, like Pixar's romance movie. I think this works well. And hot take, but I do not regret saying this. This movie is a better romance than Wall-E. Fight me. So yeah, I really love Elemental. I think it's a really cute movie, really fun movie. I do dig the romance between Wade and Ember. It is very adorable, very cool. My only issues with the movie, and the animation is just beautiful, by the way, before I continue, the animation in this movie is just spectacularly beautiful. My only issue with the movie is that because there's no outright villain, or like outright thing or fighting, like the dad is the antagonist, sure, but like there's no threat. Like we don't really get much of a threat until the finale with the water. And then, weirdly enough, it's not even Ember who's in trouble, it's Wade when he like evaporates or whatever. It's weird. The ending is very sweet though. Got me choked up for a second, and I love the song "Love" by I forgot who made that song. But it's not often you get to hear a song in a Pixar movie, so it's fun. So yeah, much like Nimona, a very fun movie but very flawed. Up next, we have Wish, which is Disney's 100th movie. Like a lot of people have a lot of issues with Wish, but at the same time, I don't hate it as much as many people do. So let's talk about the movie. For one, this movie feels like it was an obligation. Like this movie feels like it was made under a mandate. How should I say? Like it feels like this movie was an obstacle to get to the movie the animators actually wanted to make, if that makes sense. Like this movie feels like a checklist. That's what it feels like. It feels like, in order to do the things we actually want to do, we have to do this movie. That's what this movie is. It's obligatory. This movie feels like it was obligatory to be made. For those who don't know, this is Disney's 100th anniversary movie. And it was supposed to, celebrate the last 100 years of Disney storytelling. And if I'm not wrong, it's their 62nd animated movie, like the 62nd animated movie made by Disney Animation Studios, Walt Disney Animation Studios. So yeah, there is a lot of things working for this movie, but there are also things not working with it. The first thing I think everyone knows is the animation. People really hate the animation Wish. I'm not against it. For one, it's clearly borrowing inspiration from Spider-Verse and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, but also because I get what Disney was going for. They wanted the movie to look like a storybook because, shock and horror, Disney is based on fairy tales. They love adapting their fairy tales to the big screen. So it makes sense that their 100th movie would want to look like a storybook. I get that. And a lot of scenes in this movie do look straight up like they're from a storybook. And I do love that about this movie. The animation in this movie is very pretty when it's trying to look like a storybook. The biggest issue, though, is when you find out that this movie was originally meant to be 2D. That's what annoys the heck out of me. Because for those who don't know, Disney's first movie, Snow White, was a 2D animated movie made with blood, sweat, and tears. And I don't know about you, but for me personally, I feel like it's really not that much to ask Disney for their 100th anniversary movie to make it 2D. Is it just me? Am I crazy? I don't know. To me personally, I feel like for their 100th anniversary movie, Disney should have gone the extra mile and just make it 2D. Whether or not it brings them a profit, just for the novelty of it and just to cement how long this company has survived for, make it 2D. It's not that hard. But yeah, I guess now we're gonna have to wait until their 150th anniversary movie or their 200th anniversary movie before they actually bother to make an actual 2D movie. To me, this feels like it had everything going for it, but it failed. Don't even get me started on the villain. The villain is so bad. Oh god, he is so badly written. Like he starts off as this tragic figure in the story, and you're like, okay, I feel for this guy. I understand where he's coming from, and then he just becomes a douche out of nowhere when the book like makes him evil, and it's like, okay, sure. And then it's like, okay, maybe there's a way to turn him back. Maybe he's a good guy at the end of the day. Maybe, we can salvage this. No, he's evil forever. They look through the book and they're like, yeah, there's no way to reverse the curse. He's evil. Oh, well. And I can't help but feel like they really just did not want this villain to be redeemable. It's kind of like as if they wrote themselves into corner. It's like, okay, we're gonna have a good old fashioned classic Disney villain. We're gonna make him irredeemable and all that stuff, but we also want to make him relatable. We want to make him have a tragic backstory. We want the audience to feel for him. And then it's like they realize, oh crap, we made the audience feel for him too much. And then they ended up with this mess. Also, here's my Iron Man plushie that I got from Comic-Con. Say hi, Tony. Yeah, Tony's ecstatic to be here. He'll stay with me for a while. So it's like, oh god, it's as if they read this into a corner and they're like, okay, we need to make him irredeemably evil. And then on top of that, we need to make sure that there's no way to reverse that evil. And at the end of the day, it feels less, like when the villain is finally defeated, it feels less cathartic and more like, I feel bad for the guy. Like he did not ask to be evil. He did not ask to be in this mess. And now here he is, stuck being evil, trapped in the mirror forever. it's sad. It's really annoying. Like the writing in this movie is actually kind of god awful when you get to the second half. The first half again is very solid. The songs aren't amazing. I don't know why they didn't get Lin-Manuel Miranda to write this movie. Like for some reason they're going for Encanto and Moana, but you couldn't get him for your 100th anniversary movie. That is yee, like yee right there. So yeah, this movie does fail on a lot of fronts. I see why a lot of people hate it. I don't hate it as much. I understand that they were trying something here, and I will give the movie credit. Say what you will about this movie. It sucks, it killed your dog, it hurt your grandma, I don't care. But at the very least, you could tell there was a bit of effort into it. There wasn't a lot, and of course, there was a lot of missed potential. Again, I really hate how they did the villain, where it's like, they made him an irredeemable villain because again it felt like it was mandated, like it was obligatory. Like Disney just got sick of doing villains, and mind you, they even called this out in Strange World, which I do hate the fact that they're very self-aware about the fact that they are missing or lacking in villains in recent years, and still fixing that problem. They're like, yeah, we don't do villains anymore. Get off our case about it. We want to tell more stories about generational trauma. Screw you. It's like, bro, please be for real. So yeah, I don't know. To me, it feels like the villain was very much obligatory, like he was forced to be in this movie. A lot of things in this movie do feel like they're being forced. But at the same time, you can also tell that they were trying with the best they had. I kind of wish that they kept the movie 2D. I wish that they made Star an actual boy instead of a plushie like Tony. But yeah, to me, this movie is just, it's more underwhelming and disappointing, if anything. I wouldn't say it's awful. I cannot say it's the worst animated movie ever made or the worst animated movie of this year. Is there a worst animated movie of this year? Or like something I just consider truly god-awful? I don't think so. I think all the animated movies this year are somewhat passable. So Wish is definitely the weakest of them, but it's like, you know, it's whatever. It's Wish, you know what I'm saying? So it's whatever. I'm not broken up about it. It's fine. Yeah, I am kind of broken up about it because this is supposed to be a 100th anniversary movie, but at the same time, it's like, I still don't think it's as bad as people say. It's underwhelming. That's what it is. Next up, we have Mario, the Super Mario Brothers movie. I already talked about this movie ad nauseum in my review. I am not a Mario fan. I do not know every ins and outs of this franchise, which is very strange considering I'm also a Star Wars fan and I know the ins and outs of that franchise. But I can't be a fan of everything, guys. So yeah, I'm not a huge Mario fan, so this movie didn't hit me as much as it did other Mario fans when they came out. But I do accept and understand the novelty. I do appreciate the novelty of this movie and the fact that just jam packs the entire movie with references and callbacks to the games. I can only imagine what it was like being a fan seeing this movie. This is probably your favorite animated movie of the year. To me, though, this movie is just simply that. It's a fun movie, a fun animated movie that just exists. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah. What am I saying? I'm sorry. I'm very tired. It's been a very tiring day. I'm just rambling on. No, the Mario movie is very fun. It's a fun movie in its own right. The animation is great. I do love the bond between Mario and Luigi. I think they could have done a bit extra work on Peach. As I said, I am still sticking to my guns. The voice acting is horrendous. Everyone who is not Jack Black or Seth Rogen in this movie, you are phoning it in badly. So yeah, but the action is good, especially like with the whole Rainbow Road sequence. It was like surprisingly good there. I like the resolution of the movie. It's again very cliche, very standard, but it's a fun movie overall. I think if I were to rank it, the movie would go somewhere in between fun but flawed and mediocre. But to be fair, and you guys know I hate saying this because I really do hate saying it, but yeah, this movie is ultimately for kids. Now you guys know how much I really hate saying an animated movie is for kids because like, it's as if I'm falling into a stereotype of like, oh, all animated movies are for kids, therefore they have the right to be bad. But no, Mario is very much for kids. It's very much for the kids who grew up with Mario and the kids who are growing up with Mario currently. So I can't really bring myself to hate it. So yeah, Mario movie, it's fine as it is. Next up, we have Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken. This movie is disappointing, to say the least. It's not underwhelming. It's not underwhelming like Wish, but I feel like from the trailers we were given, there was definitely a fun concept to be had here of a girl who could turn into a giant kraken, going on adventures throughout the sea. It kind of feels like Finding Nemo, but action-packed, you know what I'm saying? But we didn't get that with this movie. This movie feels a lot like Little Mermaid 2 meets Turning Red. Like, this movie is literally just Turning Red. Whether or not it's better than Turning Red, I'll leave it up to you. I will say, though, I had more fun watching this movie than I did Turning Red. And I cringed way less. But Turning Red might have the deeper message. I don't know. But yeah, this movie is literally just Dreamworks' version of Turning Red. So whichever one you like is up to you. The animation is really cool. I do love the noodle physics of the characters, especially the Krakens. I really love how they utilize the we don't have a spine almost to its fullest extent. I say almost because there are a lot of scenes where I feel like, yeah, that would have been fun if the Kraken actually turned into a ball. How funny would that have been? Or if they get squished and they like come out fine. I don't know. I feel like they didn't take the Kraken physics to the extreme, but I did love them when they utilized them in the story. It was pretty fun in my opinion. Ruby herself is like an alright character. I think she's fine for what she is. Very cliche though. Chelsea's my favorite. I love Chelsea as the villain. Just going as an undercover teenager being like, yes, I'll get revenge on your mother. It's so hammy and corny, you can't help but love it. I do love the Ruby Gilman family dynamic. Sorry, I love the Gilman family dynamic. I think it's really cool. But yeah, the whole only the women in the royal family can be giants. It's like, you're really trying to be turning red, aren't you? You are really trying to be turning red here. Yeah, but again, this isn't the first time DreamWorks has riffed on a Disney project. This isn't the first time DreamWorks has ripped on a Disney project, not by a long shot. It's just so funny to see them ripping on two Disney projects, both The Little Mermaid and Turning Red. Never seen that before. So yeah, it's very interesting. But so, Ruby Gilman, I know a lot of people really hate this movie. A lot of people are disappointed with this movie. I'm slightly disappointed by this movie. I wouldn't put it in mediocre. It's still a fun watch, all things considered. I just think there's more that could have been done with the concept. If anything, I feel like this movie would have actually been benefited if it was a TV show. Like if this was like a DreamWorks animated TV show in the same vein as like Troll Hunters and it lasted for like 26 episodes minimum, I think I would have a lot more fun with it. As such, as a regular movie, it's very cliche, very by the numbers, very much like Mario. I think I do have a bit more fun with Mario because Mario at least accepts its campiness, whereas Ruby Gilman just plays it straight all the way through. So yeah. All right. Next up, we have Trolls Band Together. Now, when I heard that this movie was announced, I was very, 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 very against this movie. I was against its entire existence. Mostly because I'm not a huge fan of the Trolls franchise. I really do not like the first movie. The second movie was actually a huge improvement. I really like the second movie. But this third movie, it's like, screw you. Screw the third movie. Like, actually go to hell. That's when it was announced. But then the third movie came out and I watched it and I surprisingly had fun with it. The animation is actually very colorful and clean, much like the second movie. I like seeing the new different races in the Trolls world. I like the villains. The villains are very fun. I think they're probably the best villains we've gotten in the entire franchise so far. But like the whole plot twist in the movie is dumb. Oh no, Branch has brothers. Oh no, Poppy has a sister. Like it's just, and then of course don't forget the second movie where they reveal like the giraffe troll has family. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Why are we just revealing random family members out of nowhere? So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of like the different plot twists in this movie. The writing is also very on the line of being annoying. Even without James Corden, it's like borderline annoying. But I said, all things considered, I actually weirdly had fun with this movie. So yeah, call it a pleasant surprise. I expected this movie to be complete garbage, completely awful like the first movie, but I came out of it mildly surprised. And there are a lot of things in this movie I do genuinely like and hold over the first two movies. I don't think it's better than the second movie. I think if anything, it's probably on par with it. But it's still a Trolls movie, so I can't really respect it that much. But I will say, all in all, I did have fun with Trolls 3. My main gripes with this movie, aside from the annoying plot twists, is the fact that it feels like a kid's movie. This movie legit, like say what you will about the other two Trolls movies, but you can tell they're like, okay, it's whatever, you know, they're kids movies. And you'd be right in saying that. But this movie just disgustingly feels like a kid's movie. This feels like something Cocomelon made. That's how childish it feels. Like this feels like something you'd put on when you're babysitting someone's kid. I'm not joking with you. So yeah, this movie feels unbearably like a kid's movie, and if you don't like animated movies like that, you're probably not gonna enjoy this movie. But I will say, huge bonus for this movie. James Corden isn't in it. Hallelujah, freaking Luya. Well done, Trolls. You did something right. Like I said, the only movie I like with James Corden in it is probably Smallfoot. That's the only one where his voice is not annoying. So, yeah, Trolls, I think I liked it better than Mario because I genuinely had fun with it. But that's the first and last time I put a Trolls movie that high. So, yeah. Next up, we have Leo. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. I am going to be burned at the stake. But I don't think Leo is the best animated film. Don't get me wrong. I do think that this is one of Adam Sandler's best films. And I do see where everyone's coming from. Leo is a movie that is genuinely emotional. It is a feel-good movie. And that's what I really love about Leo. It knows it's a feel-good movie and doesn't try to be more. My issue, especially with people who praise this movie to the ends of the earth, they think it's an outstanding movie, like the best movie ever made. Like, oh my gosh, this movie is so emotional, so heart-wrenching, and all that stuff. And it's like, no, it ain't. What are you talking about? No, it ain't. This is friggin' Leo. This is Adam Sandler. My biggest issue with this movie, I think, just to put it down to its basics, is that, or brass tacks, whatever, is that it doesn't feel like an animated movie. There's no reason why this movie should be animated. And you could literally tell the same story with it being live action. Like, you see, the thing is, right, in the animation world, or at the very least in Hollywood, The main goal of an animated project is to be as good as a live action movie, for people to consider it worthy of being on the same standard as live action. To me, it's the opposite. For an animated movie to be animated, there needs to be a reason for it to be animated. There needs to be a standard, a set reason why this story needs to be animated. What story do you need to tell in this medium that you cannot tell in live action? And to me, Leo just doesn't fit that criteria for me. The movie is so plain and standard, like with its sets, its characters and whatever. It's like you could legit tell this movie in live action with CG animals and there would be no difference. If you made Leo and like the other animals in the story CG, there would be no difference. It would just be like a B-list 2000s movie, like B-list early 2000s movie. So it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. So the medium that Leo presented itself in just makes absolutely no sense to me. And but the story and the writing itself is really good. I do love the writing of the movie. It's a bit weird how Leo constantly tries to get away from the kids, but still gives them advice. It's like, make up your mind, dude. But like, I do agree, it's a genuinely feel-good movie. You do feel the nice warm fuzzies when you watch it. But at the end of the day, there is no reason for this movie to be animated, and that's my biggest gripe with this movie. And the fact that people praise this movie to the ends of the earth, when other movies like Wish, you know, freaking Ruby Gillman, and hell, even Trolls all deserve rights to be animated, and Leo doesn't. Just it kind of puts a bit of salt in the wound. So no, I don't think Leo is a bad movie. It's a genuinely heartwarming movie. Go watch it if you want to have a good time. It just has no reason to be animated, in my opinion. And for that reason alone, I put it in mediocre. Fight me if you want. Come after me. Kill me. I don't care. It's going to be mediocre. Talk to the plushie. All right. Next, we have a movie that actually deserves to be animated, Beauty and Mayhem. By the way, there's like, I think 2 movies that are not on this list. I tried to watch all the 2023 movies as much as I could before I started this video, but I think I missed out on some. So letting you know now, there is going to be some disappointments. I haven't seen Monkey King yet. I haven't seen, what's the other one? I haven't seen Monkey King. I haven't seen Chicken Run 2. I do plan to watch Chicken Run 2. I just watched the first one. It was pretty fun. So I haven't seen Monkey King. I haven't seen Chicken Run 2. And I haven't seen The Little Mermaid remake. I would have added those to this list, but time. So yeah, they're not on this list, but when I watch them, I'll probably update it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so let's move on with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. This is probably the second best TMNT movie out there. Keep in mind, I have not seen many TMNT movies. I've only seen the Michael Bay ones, Rise of the TMNT, and this one, Mutant Mayhem. And out of the 4 I've seen, this is the second best one. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Mutant Mayhem is a pretty good movie. I do have my issues with it. There are a couple of things I do not enjoy about Mutant Mayhem, but I think overall I love it. I love the fact that these are turtles who are starting out. They don't know what to do. Yes, it's another origin story, and you guys know at this point in time I am sick and tired of origin stories. However, this origin story does have one saving grace to it: Splinter. Splinter is the best part of this movie, and of course he's voiced by Jackie Chan, so that's a huge bonus right there. But yeah, Splinter is by far the best part of this movie. I love how he's not really a master like he is in the other stuff. He's not like in Rise or in TMNT 2012 where he's already an established master. He's just a dad. He's just a rat who got mutated into obviously a giant talking rat, but he wanted to protect his sons, and so he teaches his sons how to do ninjutsu through their kung fu videos he watched, or through the ninjutsu kung fu videos he watched. Again, very similar to how the 2012 Splinter taught the turtles kung fu ninjutsu through books. And of course, as you can see, because those kung fu videos are not the best quality, the turtles also aren't the best at ninjutsu. I think that's really cool and really interesting. But I do think that the relationship between Splinter and the turtles, the family dynamic they have, does hard carry this movie. And I think it makes it a lot better than other turtles origin stories we've seen. The animation in this movie is obviously amazing. It's obviously beautiful. I do have a slight issue with the character designs when it comes to humans. All the humans just look a bit too ugly. I get that's the point, to make the humans look ugly, but they just look a bit too ugly for me to like. The mutants themselves do look ugly, and the point with them is that they're mutants. You know, they're not supposed to look human. They look monstrous. The point is to make them look ugly. It makes sense why they look ugly, and they look good being ugly. The ones here, though, the humans here, though, it's a mess. And apparently MrBeast was in the movie. I didn't even know that, but congrats. You know, I love MrBeast, so seeing him anyway is just a huge plus in my book. But yeah, onto my gripes of the movie though. The movie's pacing is just very weird. It has a very off pace. And I mean this like, we have this lady Krang chick. I think it's Krang, if I'm not wrong. Utrom, yeah, I think it's the Utrom lady. She's like, let's go hunt the turtles. She doesn't hunt the turtles until like halfway into the movie. And then you have the turtles who meet the other mutants who got like mutated on the same day as them. And it's like, they hang out with them for one night. They hang out with them in the bowling alley for one night, and then they just immediately become friends. Like, the turtles are like, oh my gosh, these guys are a family. We can't abandon them. Splinter, let's adopt them. We're all one big happy family. It's like, bro, you just met them. You've gone 15 years without seeing each other. You've met each other, hang out for one night, and you're like, we're family. It's like, bruh, what are you talking about? What are you doing? You don't know these guys. And again, despite the art style being great and the animation being great, the action scenes are lacking. I get it's an origin story, so of course the turtles are not going to be as cool as they are in like Rise of the TMNT or in TMNT 2012, but oh my gosh, is the action lacking in this movie. I think the climax is the only time where it's a bit creative, but like even then, it's like, I'm sorry, maybe it's because I should not be comparing this movie to Rise, but both of them are TMNT projects, so inherently I am gonna, but I know it's not fair to compare this movie to Rise, but Rise's action was just so freaking good. My gosh, I love the action in Rise. And it's like, this movie is just under delivery when it comes to action. Again, I know there's a difference. Rise is the finale of the Rise movie is the finale of the Rise series. This movie is the start of something new, especially for the Paramount series going forward. Like, one is a finale movie, the other one is an origin movie. I know I should not be comparing them, but like, bro, we just got Rise. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rise literally came out the year before this movie, and you can definitely feel it's just not the same. So for me personally, it's like, damn, it's like, damn, you are not Rise, and you feel that feeling sink in. So yeah, again, TMNT Mutant Mayhem is a great movie. I do love the turtle designs. I do love the mutant designs. I think the animation is great, the art style is great. My only issues with the movie are the pacing, the character dynamics, at least with the other mutants, not with the Trolls and Splinter, more like the Trolls and the other mutants, and the action, it's very much lacking. However, everything else, I think the villain, Superfly, is really great. I forgot who his voice actor is, but he was just giving it his all there. I love the guy. He was genuinely hilarious. But overall, Mutant Mayhem, it's a fun movie, but it is very flawed. I think it fits the definition the most. So, yeah. Next up, we have Migration. This movie, first of all, I want to say, this movie is ripping off Finding Nemo. This movie is Finding Nemo with ducks, and I hate you. I hate Illumination ripping off. Why is everyone just ripping off Disney and Pixar this year? Can we talk about that for a second? First Dreamworks with the freaking Ruby Gilman movie, and then now Illumination with Migration. Why are y'all just ripping off Dreamworks and Pixar? What is happening here? So, yeah. Anyway, Migration. Yeah, it's a fun movie. I think for all intents and purposes, it's a really adorable movie about a family of ducks just migrating from one end of the world to the other. And then, of course, from like Northern America to Jamaica. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, the dad just becomes so coked up and hyper on adventures. Like, I gotta go on adventures, man. You don't know. I got that high. I need it. So I love that little character arc. I also like how he's afraid of the whole outside world and he needs to learn to, basically step out of his comfort zone. But like, unlike Finding Nemo, there's not really much of a reason for him to be afraid of the outside world. We don't really understand where his fear is coming from. Like, the only fear he presents is predators, which I guess is valid. But unlike Finding Nemo, where we get to see how truly dangerous the predators are, I think we only come across like 2 predators max in this movie, counting the humans. So it's like, what's the point of that fear as well? So yeah, to me, this movie, very huge ripoff of Finding Nemo. But all in all, I think it's cute. The movie is very much disconnected. It feels a lot like segments of fun animated stuff just stitched together to tell a loosely defining narrative. I don't know if that makes sense. Like a lot like Encanto, this movie is a lot like Encanto in terms of its structure. It's like a lot of the parts of the movie feel less like it's telling a story and more like it feels like episodes of a mini-series stitched together to tell one story. Like each set piece the birds go to, it feels like a completely different story. And I think that works in the movie's favor because, again, it's just a dumb, fun movie. It's dumb schlock. It's not trying to tell you a deep message or anything. So I appreciate the fact that this movie knows it's not... It knows it's more or less a time killer. I wouldn't say waste of time, but the movie does know that it's very much a time killer, and so it doesn't waste your time being like, oh, we're deeper than we are. No, we're a fun movie for you to put for your kids in the background. We're moving on. It's a typical Illumination movie, and I'm honestly surprised. This is Illumination's first original movie in like 7 years, I think, if I'm not wrong, because their last original movie was Sing, which came out in 2016, because 2017 was Despicable Me 3, 2018 was The Grinch, which is based on a book. 2019 was Secret Life of Pets 2, so that's a sequel. 2020, they didn't do anything. 2021 was Sing 2. And then 2022, they did Minions 2. So yeah, I think, so this was actually Illumination's first original movie in 7 years, if I'm not wrong. That's crazy. So I do appreciate them finally going back and doing original stuff. But really, this movie was just a buffer for Despicable Me 4. Let's be fully honest here. This movie was a tax write-off. But yeah, this movie, it's fun. It's dumb fun. It's fun. It doesn't expect you to learn anything from it. I just don't like how much of a Finding Nemo ripoff it is. Like, shame on you, movie. Have some class. So I'd say it's more fun than the Trolls movie. It's more fun and more charming than the Trolls movie. I do love the family dynamic here, and there's not some random bullcrap plot twist that comes out of nowhere. But yeah, who'd have thought an Illumination movie would get this high? Do I seriously like it more than Mario? That's crazy. I didn't even notice that. I put it above Mario. Huh. Okay. I guess I just had more fun with it. All right. Next up, we have Boy and the Heron. I could cut this review right now. I could cut this live stream. I just cut it. I put the movie in its slot, and then we come back later and pick up from there. Yeah. I am very, very scared to talk about this movie. I'm going to keep my opinions brief. I'm going to keep my talking points very calm and low, because I know there are a lot of Ghibli fans out there, there are a lot of Miyazaki fans out there, and there are a lot of anime fans out there, and I'm not looking to get cancelled today. So, what do I think of The Boy and the Heron? For one, I do not think this movie deserved to win the Oscar. I get that this movie is most likely Miyazaki's last film. I get that it's an anime film and a 2D film, so it kind of needed the dub to prove that 2D is still big in the industry. Give me 1 second, I gotta check my audio. Okay, cool. We are good on what do you call it? We are good on audio. Amazing. I don't think I've had audio this clean in a live stream before. Like, thank you. But yeah, I do not think it deserved to win Best Animated Feature. I do accept that it won, and I understand why it had to win. It had to be a win for both anime fans and 2D fans, all right? However, with that being said, I want to let you know now that this is my first Ghibli film. This is the first Ghibli film I've watched, ever. I've not watched a Ghibli film before this. I will watch one more after this just to see if I like their style. I'm not going to tell you which movie that is, but I'm going to watch one more after this to see if I like their style. But as far as Ghibli movies go, or as far as movies go, I don't think I liked it, to be honest with you. Maybe this is due to my bias with Spider-Verse. Maybe I'm just upset it beat Spider-Verse. But I don't think I got this movie. Like, he goes into this weird Alice in Wonderland tower where he meets his mom from the past, who for some reason has fire powers. I thought for a minute the mom was like a manifestation of his trauma because mom died in a fire. But then it turns out she actually goes back to her own time period. And it's like, okay, so you are the real mom. Okay, fair enough. And then we have the auntie who marries the dad not even like a few months after the mom died. So it's like, you moved on from that quick. And we have the heron who just has some dude living in it. Okay, sure, man. There's a lot about this movie I just don't think I got or liked. So, yeah. I don't know. The movie was hella confusing in a lot of parts. Okay, let's start off with the positives. The animation. The animation is honestly beautiful. I watched this movie even with horrible quality, and the animation is still so good. It is a genuinely beautiful movie visual wise. I advise you go watch it just for that, especially because again it's 2D, so blood, sweat, and tears went into this. Hey Disney, hey Disney, here's a 2D movie. I can only imagine how long this one took, Disney. Anyway, so animation wise, it's beautiful. Set piece wise, it's beautiful. I love the different locations we get to go see and the weird little world building we get for each location. I think it's really great. And I like the character. I like the main character. I like how he's very quiet throughout the first third of the film because he's very much in grief, in distress, and he doesn't know where to go. I think that's great. However, with that being said, everything else about the movie just don't make no sense to me, boy. Some of the writing is just, you wonder if they were high when they wrote this movie. And again, maybe this is Ghibli movies overall. Maybe this is Ghibli movies in general. But yeah, man, I just couldn't bring myself to love this movie. Again, maybe it's my bias of Spider-Verse, but there's just a lot of stuff I want to talk about this movie. I wish I could talk about this movie without getting cancelled, but I don't think I got it. I don't think I understood this movie or I get the hype that this movie got. So, yeah. Even when I thought I understood the message of the movie, I guess I didn't. Because, like, for some reason now, like, the end of the movie has him questioning, like, whether or not he should become God. Where the hell did that come from? So, yeah, man. The Boy and the Heron, it's an interesting movie, so to say. It's got beautiful animation, but I, for the life of me, feel like I cannot do this movie justice by placing it any higher. Or at the very least, myself justice, my thoughts justice by placing it any higher. So that's where it's gonna go. It's gonna go in between Migration and Trolls 3. Make of that what you will. I think the Duck movie is better. Although, even though the heroine in The Boy and the Heron is better than the one in Migration, the Ducks in Migration are better. So, yeah. The only reason I'm putting it behind Migration, actually, no, that's wrong. Migration is a waste of your time. I'm kidding. Migration is a time killer. It knows it's not worth your time. This movie at least tries to be your time. But, like, there is no way in hell I'm putting this movie above TMNT, Elemental, and Nimona. Cry about it. Spider-Verse should have won. Not sorry. All right, next to a movie that actually makes sense to me. Lord, that was weird. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. I really love this movie. You guys have seen my video on it. I was meat writing this movie till the end of time, and I still love it to this day. It's a perfect end to the trilogy, one of James Gunn's best superhero movies overall, one of Marvel's best movies, period. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, Marvel, please take notes from this movie if you want to have a very loyal fan base again. I'm probably a loyal fan base. I've watched every movie in shop until this point. I literally am legally not allowed to leave. But for other people, if you really want people to take superheroes seriously again, yeah, man, just make more movies like Guardians 3. That's all I ask. So I'm not going to talk much on Guardians 3. I've done so to death in my video. So go watch that if you're interested. But for this movie, I think it's a genuinely great movie. I also saw it got nominated for effects, but Godzilla -1 won. So, well, I'm not upset the Guardians 3 lost, because it does make sense for Godzilla to win, because from what I heard, Godzilla had a microscopic budget. I haven't seen Godzilla yet, so I can't really form an opinion. But yeah, I'm glad it got nominated. Shows that the Oscars aren't all bad all the time. So we get one minor win. All right. Next up is Ant-Man Quantumania. Y'all know I don't like this movie. It is hands down my least, not my least favorite Marvel project. Secret Invasion is my least favorite Marvel project. But it's down there. This is definitely one of them. I feel like there were really two things they could have done to make this movie good. One was change the ending so that King actually does escape the quantum realm. Maybe leave Ant-Man trapped in there. And two, make it a King movie. I don't know why they didn't make this movie a King movie. Everyone agrees Infinity War is Thanos' movie. You'd think we'd give King his own movie before he decides to stomp on the adventures and whatnot. I don't know. To me personally, I feel like Quantumania had a lot of good potential, and he kind of squandered it. I don't think it wasted its potential as bad as like stuff like Secret Invasion and Thor: Love and Thunder. It did squander a lot of it. So yeah, to me, this movie isn't good. It's bad movie. Bad movie. Shame on you, Marvel. Shame. How did you release both this and Guardians 3 in the same year? It's like, what the hell? Next up, we have The Marvels. Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine movie. I still stand by my opinions I had on it when I first reviewed it. I still think it is averagely mid for Marvel. Not really, it's bad. It is funny bad. This movie is so bad, it's good. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a so bad, it's funny movie. The plot is literally Ratchet and Clank. How did this movie get through the writing phase? Like, how did the executives see the script for this movie and be like, damn, make this a movie, here's your damn budget and all that stuff. Like, to me, the script is just so astonishingly, bafflingly bad. They literally just copied the plot of Ratchet and Clank, and they're like, surely no one will notice, right? It's like, I noticed. I'm not even a Ratchet and Clank fan. I only watched the damn 2016 movie, and I noticed. So yeah, the plot of the movie is literally Ratchet and Clank. Why Darbed couldn't steal the resources from like just one single planet, like just stealing the water and air from one single planet, instead she had to go planet hopping, I'll never understand. As said, I did not care for most of the character interactions. Monica and Carol, that thing was rushed and forced as hell. I love what they did with Miss Marvel though. However, also her relationship with Carol was just rushed as hell and just underdeveloped. That's what I can say about the relationships, the character dynamics in this movie. Underdeveloped as fudge. The ending of the movie is genuinely great though. I still stand by it to say the last third of this movie is great. The stuff with the cats, memory, the fight with no music, Monica getting trapped in another universe, all great. It's just the first two acts are just, why do they exist? Why? So yeah, lots of problems with this movie. It's not the worst movie ever, but it does remind me a lot of the early 2000s, not the dark superhero movies, but the movies where it's just like so bad you can't help but laugh at them. So yeah, The Marvels, it's mid. That's all I can say about it. Next up is Shazam 2, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This movie is also kind of mid. I'd put it like at the end of fun but flawed or mediocre, but that's what I think of Shazam 2. Normal, average mid film. I like the family dynamics. I really do enjoy the family dynamics in this movie. How they all really do feel like a family. I like seeing the different Shazams showing off their powers. I like how Billy sacrifices for himself for his family. Then I think he has a really nice growth as a character of learning that he does need to grow up and he's not going to remain like 17 forever. I think that's really cool. Lots of weird pedophile jokes in the movie, for lack of a better word. Like Billy's into Wonder Woman. Yeah, I get Zachary Levi is mostly the ones having the scenes with her, but like you still wrote it as a 17-year-old attracted to like some 2,000-year-old chick, and then you have Billy's brother as well, who's attracted to a 6,000-year-old chick, and it's like, is this funny? Is this supposed to be comedy? I don't know. You made it. You brought it up to make it sound uncomfortable, and then you expect me to laugh at how uncomfortable it is. I don't get it. The effects in this movie are actually pretty decent for what they are. Like, the movie actually looks really good. I like the sisters. I like the daughters of Atlas. They aren't, as far as I can tell, these characters are movie originals. Like, they weren't in the comics before. But it really do feel carried out air of like, yeah, we're adapting these characters from the comics and they're all true to their character. I think it's really fun. Overall, I really do like the movie. I think it's a fun watch. It's a bit weird in some areas. I don't think it's as good as the first Shazam movie, which is very disappointing in my opinion, because I was putting a lot of money on the second one being better than the first. But as such, it's just a charming, fun family superhero movie. I would put it at the end of fun but flawed. I feel like I should create a tier list in between fun but flawed and mediocre, just to let you know which movies are fun and actually fun and which movies are like, eh. But yeah. Next up, we have The Flash. This movie's a mess. This movie's a freaking mess. Like, I expected it to not be great, but I didn't know, like, here's the thing, right? I expected this movie to be a mess. I knew it had gone through production hell, so you expected it to be a mess. Then the first couple trailers came out, and I was like, okay, this could be a fun movie. Maybe not the best superhero multiverse movie ever, but a fun movie. But then, they paid James Gunn and Tom Cruise to say good things about this movie. That's why I knew it was a coin toss. It was either going to be really good or really, really, really bad. The fact that you have to pay movie heads to discuss about it. And what do you know? It was really bad. It was really, really bad. This movie's a mess, especially the last act. You all know I love my endings in movies, and I also just love ends to trilogies and stories overall. This movie's ending ends with Barry not even learning his freaking lesson. What the hell, man? Isn't the whole point of a protagonist to make them likable and to give them an arc where they grow as a person? Tell me, how does Barry grow as a person if he repeats the same damn mistake that got him in this situation in the damn first place? So yeah, this movie just creates confusion for everyone. It even created confusion as to where Aquaman 2 takes place in the timeline. Does it take place in the new universe Barry created, or does it take place in the old universe just before Barry set the timeline? I am so frustrated with this movie. Legit, thinking about its ending annoys me to no end. I don't even want to think about the ending of this movie. And it starts off so well. The movie genuinely starts off strong with a nice Justice League saving the day scenario. Batman, Flash, and Wonder Woman. They were just having fun, saving the day, punching criminals and all that stuff. And it's like, it just goes from 0 to 1,000 in the back half of the movie. I don't even want to talk about this movie. It's that garbage. Good Lord. Bad DC. You're worse than Quantumania. Can you stop leaving me naked? All right, I think we're about halfway through the list. This is, yeah, this is gonna be fun, isn't it? Hey, take a breather. Okay, breathing done. So, Blue Beetle. This movie, I kind of knew it wasn't going to be good. Apparently, this movie was originally made for only streaming. Like, it was only going to show up on HBO Max. And, that's it. It wasn't going to have a theatrical release. But then they changed their minds at the last minute, which, I guess is a good thing. It kind of reminds me of the Batgirl movie, where that was originally also made for HBO Max, if I'm not wrong. Got cancelled entirely. The movie was 70% done, and you just canceled it for a tax write-off. What the hell? Yo, DC... Warner Brothers, specifically, they've been on a downward trend for a while. Don't even get me started on all the animated projects they've cancelled. Oh yeah, lots of them being cancelled. I heard they're at least releasing 2D animated movies this year. I hope they don't cancel them. I know one of them is the Looney Tunes movie, and the other one is a Lord of the Rings movie. If anything, I really hope they don't cancel the Lord of the Rings one, but we'll see. And they're apparently also working on a live-action Ben 10. Apparently. Nothing confirmed. So, yeah, we'll see about that one. Anyway, Blue Beetle itself, it's a passable movie. It's a very mid movie. The movie is averagely mid, like disgustingly mid. But the thing that hard carries it for me is the family dynamics. Much like Shazam, I do think that this movie has a lot of good family moments, especially between Jaime and his family and his father and all that stuff. Like, there is definitely a strong bond there, and it's cute and fun to watch them work off each other. It does get a bit weird in the final act when his family like just decides to start killing people left, right, and center. Even though Jaime himself has a very strict no killing code, his family is just like ripping through bodies, being like, "We're coming to save you, Jaime." It's like, bit of an inconsistency there. Not a huge fan of it, but I do like the Blue Beetle suits. This movie instantly made me in love with the Blue Beetle suits, like with how its gadgets and powers work and all that stuff. Like before this movie, I was not familiar with Blue Beetle at all until I saw this. I'm like, damn, I kind of want a Blue Beetle suit. I kind of want a thing attached to me for the rest of my life. So hey, the movie did its job. It made me like the character, and I'm glad that he's confirmed to be in a new DC universe. And I don't know if you guys know this, but they're making a Teen Titans movie, an actual live-action Teen Titans movie. I want Jaime to be on the team. Like I don't see any reason why he cannot. So yeah, put him on the Teen Titans team, James. You know what to do. Aquaman 2 is another movie that's just fun. It's fun in its own right, but it's whatever. It's not as bad as the Marvels, but it's also just average. I like the action in the movie. I think it's really fun. I think the movie is a lot more campy and goofier than the first movie, which I also think works to its favor. But it's also just a very straightforward fantasy, yo, we gotta do the thing movie. I don't know what it is, but the Aquaman movie is just like playing their tropes for straightforward, only with the twist of it being Aquaman, and I like that. I really like that. It's fun. It's a lot of fun for what it is. So, yeah, I like the relationship between Aquaman and Norm, his brother. Not Norm. Norm of the North. Norm of the North supports green homes in the Arctic. For those who get that reference, I apologize because you suffered the same way I did. So yeah, all in all, I think Aquaman 2, it's a normal, fine movie. It's not as mid as the Marvels, but it is what it is. So yeah, Aquaman 2 it's fine. I don't know where I'd place it. It's better than Shazam, probably better than Blue Beetle, I think. I think I had a more fun time watching it than Blue Beetle. How do you know? 2 ocean movies back to back. Also very cliche. So yeah, this tier is just getting overcrowded here. It's a fun but flawed movie. I just think everything is fun and flawed, don't I? This year was a very mixed year for movies, I can see. Up next we have Asteroid City. This is my first Wes Anderson film. I figured I'd give it a watch, because in case you guys don't know, I'm in film school, so I have to watch some weird obscure ones every now and again. And this movie, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Maybe more than the normal person should, but I liked it. My only issues with the movie is that there's no drive to it. There's nothing motivating the characters to do ABCD. Well, at least the main character to do ABCD. I get the plot of the movie is that he's trying to run away from his grief, but like they don't really show that well. I think that's my issue with the movie is that like there's a lot of stuff it'll outright say, but then a lot of stuff it won't say, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of stuff it holds back. So yeah, I don't know. Asteroid City, I think it's a very fun movie. There's just not much of an oomph to it, not much of a punch. And maybe this is the case with a lot of Wes Anderson movies. Again, this is my first one. So maybe the whole point of the movie is that there isn't oomph to it. Maybe you're just supposed to cruise through life, and that's what you can do at the end. I do love the song, freight train, go so fast. Freight train. I think it's fun. The acting in this movie is spectacular. Set production, the set design, beautiful. And I think this movie does try to tackle a lot of deep topics, especially when it comes to about death and grief. But overall, it's like, I don't know, man. It's a good movie. It just has its flaws. I don't think it's as crazy as the fun but flawed list, but it is there. It is like low grade, high fun. But if we're talking on the topic of movies that are genuinely great, Oppenheimer. Yeah, this movie won the Oscars for the 2023 Academy Awards. I think it's well deserved. This movie is very much the face of 2023. If you think of movies that came out in 2023, I think that's the first one that comes to mind. It's weird that this, real movie that was made, with a budget, with a tight budget, whatever, doesn't have superheroes in it, isn't based on any comic or book or whatever, this dark, gritty movie. It's so weird to me that this very clearly meant to be artsy movie got so many people watching it, which I know is like huge. I know it's a huge dub for indie movie lovers or for real movie lovers, because it's like, oh my gosh, this hard movie, this dark movie got loved by the masses. Yes. And this movie raked in nearly $1 billion. It's so weird. And it's so funny to me because like this movie, I feel in my mind has gone from being a real movie, like a real indie movie, to being a blockbuster hit. Like there's no way in hell you can say Oppenheimer is your favorite movie of the year, or it's one of your favorite movies of all time, because people will be like, ugh, go watch a real movie like Poor Things or something. I don't know. I haven't watched Poor Things, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, it's very weird how Oppenheimer just kind of came in, caused noise, and left. But of course, the reason Oppenheimer was so big and so popular, and the reason it caused so much of a stir, is because of Barbie as well. Barbenheimer. This is Oppenheimer's less better half, I would say. It's not as great as Oppenheimer, but it is a fun movie. I'm Just Ken is hands down, the best scene and best song in the movie. That one just resonated with me on a whole other level. Ryan Gosling absolutely stole this film. It's actually kind of disgusting how good Ryan Gosling is in this film. He actually outshines Margot Robbie as my favorite actor in this film. And if you ask me, he should have won Best Supporting Actor. Not to dunk on Robert, all right? Robert Downey Jr. deserved his Oscar. This Robert Downey Jr. story is the definition of a man who started from the bottom, now we're at the top. And so I feel like he deserved his Oscar. Though in any other year, much like Miyazaki's Ghibli films, I would have been fine with the win if it wasn't this year. Ryan Gosling was better than Robert Downey Jr. I said it. Spider-Verse was better than Boy and Heron. I said it. I'm not against Miyazaki, nor am I against Studio Ghibli. I just feel like there was another year they could have won. Again, not against Robert Downey Jr. There was also another year he could have won. That's my breakdown for this. But yeah, Barbie is a very cutesy, fun movie. Obviously trying to be deeper than it is with its messaging, which I'm not going to speak on because I'm not the right audience for that message. All I will say is that I do not understand why America Ferrera got nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Her speech in the movie was just, it wasn't that good. I'm sorry. I picked apart that speech the minute she said it out loud. Come to me all you want. Talk to me about how much I hate women or whatever. But like, I did not like that speech. And from what I've seen, yeah, a lot of people also kind of didn't like that speech. So yeah. But Ryan Gosling absolutely stole this movie. Favorite part of the movie. Also, the What Was I Made For song. What is y'all's taste? Why do y'all love that song so much? Please explain it to me. I've listened to it. I don't understand it. But like, you do you, man. It won the Oscar. Hooray. For me, Barbie's, it's a genuinely great film. Better than Asteroid City, but not as good as Oppenheimer. Next up, we have Napoleon, directed by Ridley Scott and starring, what's his face? Joaquin Phoenix. I would be remiss if I didn't tell y'all that this was my most anticipated movie of the year. Okay, I'm lying. Second most anticipated movie of the year, behind Spider-Verse. But I was genuinely gassed up for this movie, especially when the trailer came out. You know, everyone around me, everyone. Oh my gosh, yo, that trailer was so beautiful. That's genuinely one of the best trailers I've ever watched, period. However, with that being said, the movie is disappointing. The movie is disappointing as frick. I was expecting to walk into a movie talking about one of the coolest emperors to ever exist, his conquest over Europe, you know, the reason why he conquered Europe. Because, like, we still are not sure why he conquered Europe, you know? Like, we're not sure if he did it out of a sense of loyalty to France, like he feels like he needs to get France's redemption, you know, he needs to get their lick back, or if he just did it for fun. We legit do not know. And the fact that this movie failed on that annoys me to no end. What I hate, especially about this movie, is that instead of being a Napoleon movie focusing on his time as emperor, it focuses on his romance with Josephine. What the frick? This movie is all Josephine. What kind of what in the name of telenovela freaking saga did I just walk into? No, I keep for a Napoleon movie, not Napoleon and Josephine. What annoys me is that Joaquin Phoenix is acting his butt off in this role. And it's just not working for me. It is so not working for me. I love how he's displaying this eccentric, weirdo emperor who just does weird things for the sake of it. But like, you know, he's still the most powerful man in the land. I also love, like, here's the thing. This movie legit only picks up after Josephine dies. I said it and I meant it. There's the scene where Josephine dies and then Napoleon mourns for her death and then he goes on to have the Battle of Waterloo. Everything from Josephine's death onward is genuinely great. The Battle of Waterloo is great. Napoleon's surrender is great. His loss is great. Even his death is kind of weirdly cathartic. Like, not weirdly cathartic, but weirdly fitting. It's not as poetic as I wanted it to be, but it's fitting. What I do not like about this is about sorry, what I do not like is that it took us 2 hours to get to the actual good stuff of this movie. You know, the part that focuses on Napoleon being an emperor and a warrior. The stuff that I paid to watch this movie for. I was so disappointed by this movie. I legit thought we were going to get two awesome biopics in the same year. I thought we were going to get both a Napoleon and an Oppenheimer. Two movies made by two amazing directors, two artistic movies based on historical figures made by two amazing directors. I thought we were going to get both Napoleon And sorry, both Oppenheimer and Napoleon, and we're just gonna get two historical masterpieces in the same year. 2023 was gonna be the year for period pieces that were just amazing, and they weren't. Oppenheimer is the only one that was actually good, sadly, and Napoleon is the one that was just bad. I don't know if I want to put it in underwhelming or astonishing awful. I'll put it underwhelming, because the awful movies like these ones, they just have like no redeeming qualities. Quantumania's only redeeming trait is Kang, and The Flash's only redeeming trait is the first 30 minutes. Whereas Napoleon, like, its only redeeming trait is like the last 30 minutes, and Joaquin Phoenix. And like, yeah, oh my gosh, there's so much this movie even jumped over when it came to Napoleon's life. It's honestly disgusting how much this movie skipped over this crazy, cool emperor's life. It's not even fair. Like, this guy is one of the most accomplished emperors in history. This movie just skipped so much of that for favor of Josephine. I swear, if you want a satisfying Napoleon story, if you want a legit good Napoleon story, go watch Oversimplified videos on him. Oversimplified is a YouTube channel who made 2 videos on Napoleon, both of which combined, I even shorter than the entire runtime of this movie. Yet he covers more than this movie does, and you will end up more satisfied than it. So go watch Oversimplified. He does make better Napoleon videos. You will have a good time with that. Next up, we have 65. Please tell me how you make this movie interesting. How the hell did you make a movie about a man coming from outer space, from the future? No, he's coming from an advanced civilization and lands on Earth and has to survive dinosaurs. First of all, I don't know why they made this man an alien. If anything, like, it would have been so simple to just make him a guy from the future who time travels back to the age of dinosaurs and gets stuck in this age of dinosaurs. Why do you have to make him an alien? If anything, it kind of breaks the canon making him an alien, if you ask me. Like, there would have been nothing wrong with just making this man a dude from the future who time traveled back to the age of dinosaurs, but I don't know. First of all, I think the first obvious thing you see with this movie is how ridiculously small the budget is. Like, this movie is so ambitious with future man fighting dinosaurs, but the budget is so small. We barely spend time in space. We barely spend time on the other planet. And when we do, it's these like confined small sets. When the daughter is talking to the dad on her hologram, small set. When they're on the beach, small set. And the beach is not even anything interesting. It's like, it's got a purple hue to it, and the rocks are weirdly shaped. That's how you know it's an alien planet. Space, we barely spend any time there. The dinosaurs we do get to see are, of course, all in dark, so the CGI can help blend with them better. And the only time we get to see them in the daytime are the small dinosaurs, not even the big ones. And then we get me started on the dinosaur designs. Why didn't you get actual dinosaur designs? None of the dinosaurs in this movie look like dinosaurs. Like, maybe there's a raptor or two that actually looks like a dino, but like most of the dinosaurs in the movie just straight up don't look like dinosaurs. They just look like weird contorted lizards. Why'd you even put this setting in the Cretaceous period then? Make it make sense. And don't forget we set on the relationship between Adam Driver and the girl. They make it so the girl doesn't talk, so that, you know, she and Adam Driver can have this quiet bond between them, which again just furthers my belief that this movie has a small budget. This movie has a total of 4 actors in it. 4. Adam Driver, his daughter, the little girl, and Adam Driver's wife. Adam Driver's wife disappears for the majority of the movie. The daughter dies off screen, so it's just really Adam Driver and the girl. 4 characters in the entire movie about surviving on a planet of hostile dinosaurs. This was a golden concept. You know how you have golden concepts where you have to actively try to make them fail? This is an example of them. Hands down, I legit think this is probably the worst movie of 2023. It is so bad in how it takes this actual good concept and wastes it. The dinosaurs' designs suck. Like, I swear, there's nothing saving about this movie. The dinosaurs' designs suck. The dinosaur designs suck. The story sucks. The writing, despite there not being a lot of dialogue in this movie, sucks. And it's like, for such an ambitious movie with such a tiny budget, you even wonder why they even bothered. I get that this movie was made during the pandemic, so not all of the production issues were its fault, but yeesh. Like, at least try, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Next up, we have Cocaine Bear. This movie suffers the same issue as 65, where it's a lot of wasted potential. However, unlike 65, this movie does know it's goofy. The movie's entire advertisement was all about how goofy it is. You know, like, oh my gosh, look at this weird bear. It snorts cocaine and it kills people. So it knows it's a goofy movie about a bear sniffing cocaine. All I know about it, like, all I'm going to say about it is that there wasn't enough of the bear. For a movie called Cocaine Bear, like, half the movie doesn't even have the bear in it. And you guys know, I think I do not have to say this for the millionth time. I do not like monster/horror movies that barely focus on the monsters. So it does barely focus on the horror slash monsters. Like and this is why I don't like horror movies, aside from the fact that I'm just not into them in general. They barely focus on the killings. You know what I'm saying? We have to focus on pointless, dumb human drama. I do not care about the humans. Please stop with the humans. The humans are so boring. I do not care about the human drama. I do not care about some chick's kid who's going, some chick who's going through a divorce and she's fighting over custody with her ex for her kid. I do not care. I do not care about the human drama. I came to this movie to see monsters wrecking crap, to see monsters killing things. That's what I want. And for a movie like Cocaine Bear, I expected more bear in this movie. There's a good amount of bear, but not enough. So yeah, this movie worse than the Marvels. It's not Napoleon or 65 bad, but it is bad. Next up, we have Peter Pan and Wendy. It's a live-action remake. What do you expect? I mean, seriously, what the hell do you expect? It's a Disney live-action remake. This movie was bad from the start. Everything about this movie sucks. The effects suck. Oh my god, the effects suck in this movie so hard. I get it's a Disney Plus movie, so the budget wasn't that big, but good lord. Actually, good lord, the budget in this movie is... The effects in this movie is horrific. It's like, please up the budget. There's like this scene of Wendy when she's flying to like Neverland, and it looks like her face is stretching as she's flying. Like, it's like they applied a CG rubber effect to her face. It's like, no, don't do that. Stop. Please stop. I beg of you. Please stop. So yeah, and then there was also another scene with horrible CG. I don't even want to get into it. For Tinkerbell, they removed her gyat. How do you remove Tinkerbell's gyat? Shame on you. Hook and Peter are now like, Hook was now a lost boy who's just out to get Peter, and he just kills Peter. And he's like, oh, I kind of regret my decision. It's like, what the hell? Why are you trying to make Hook a deep character? They even give me started on Peter. Peter isn't as annoying or as abrasive as he is in the animated version, but for some reason, everyone in this movie is just mean to him. For no reason. Peter barely does anything, and Wendy goes around slapping and just hitting the dude. For no reason. If this was animated Peter, it makes sense. The boy needs some sense slapped into him. But this is movie Peter. And movie Peter is made out like, this is live action Peter. Live action Peter is made out to look like some kind of monster. When the Peter we actually see in the movie, like, there's a huge difference between what people say about Peter and what Peter actually does. What people say about Peter makes him look like some kind of horrifying monster. But what Peter actually does in the movie, he's just a regular dude. He's just a regular kid who doesn't feel like he needs to grow up. I am so baffled by the direction of this movie too. Don't even get me started on Wendy. The movie's called Peter Pan and Wendy. Wendy's barely a character. Okay, not just a lie. She is a character. She pushes a lot of the plot forward. But like some of the stuff they do with Wendy is just abysmal. They don't make Wendy the carried mother figure of the group, despite being the eldest sister. Thus, we need to care for her brothers. I don't even think Wendy actually cares about her brothers in this movie. There's so many instances where John and Peter, John and Henry, I think, if I'm not wrong. There's so many instances where John and Henry are in danger in this movie, and Wendy just does not care. She does not give a flying crap about her brothers. And even when it comes to her chance to like get acquainted with the Lost Boys, she's like, oh hell no, I'm not being your mother. And then of course we have the end of the movie. Oh, this magic belongs to no boy. Wendy, that magic doesn't belong to you either. That is Tinkerbell's magic. The flying pixie dust is not yours, nor is it Peter's. It always belonged to Tinkerbell. Why the hell are you acting like it was Peter's all along? And that, it's mine now because girl power. My god, I hate this movie. It is bad. It's not as bad as 65, but it is worse than Flash and Quantumania. Give me a second, guys. I gotta pull a Captain Sparkles. Gotta go get some water. Did you enjoy that riveting gameplay I left you behind with? You know you did. You know you did. Alright. No viewers on the stream. Interesting. Last time I streamed, I got like quite a few viewers. No one's in the chat. Oh well. You retrieve this video from the archives. I don't really care. Next up, we have Rebel Moon. This movie it's interesting. To talk about Rebel Moon properly, I need to talk about the backstory and the background of this movie. So this movie is made by what's his face? It's made by Zack Snyder. I've not watched a lot of Zack Snyder movies. The only Zack Snyder movies I've watched are his DC movies, and I do not like them. I have been very vocal about saying that I do not like Zack Snyder and his work on the DC movies. I do not think Zack Snyder gets superheroes, nor does he understand them, and I really hope he never tries for another superhero universe in the future. Do I think he's a bad director, though? That's a question for another day, because I have not watched his movies. One thing I will say is that he does over-rely on CGI. How does this relate to Rebel Moon? Rebel Moon was actually based off a script Zack Snyder wrote. It was based off a Star Wars script that he had pitched to Disney, but Disney shut him down and they said, no, we're not adapting the script for you, go away. And he's like, okay, bet, whatever, it's fine. And so he leaves and he decides to go pitch the script to Netflix instead. Netflix is like, oh, you want to make your version of Star Wars? By all means, make it. So this movie is a mix. So this movie is Netflix's most ambitious movie. They are promoting this movie to hell and back. They are advertising it like no one's business. And you can tell they are betting a lot on this movie making them money. The first part has already come out and the second part is coming out next month. And I'll talk about the second part at the end of the year or when I review it, I don't care. But this movie was meant to rival Star Wars. It was meant to challenge Star Wars. You know, Star Wars isn't in a good place, especially under Disney's command. So let Zack Snyder come in and save Star Wars. And to that I say, y'all wanted Zack Snyder to come to Star Wars? Like, this makes as much sense as bringing Christopher Nolan. Not Christopher Nolan. Yeah, this makes as much sense as bringing Christopher Nolan into Marvel. The hell are you doing? This is a director who is completely out of their field. They do not understand what the project they're making on works. And you want them to do more? Like, don't get me wrong, Christopher Nolan is a very decorated director, and he's good at what he does. I'm not denying that. I've watched the Dark Knight trilogy. It's good. The problem is, they're not great Batman films, all right? The Dark Knight is an amazing crime film, but it's not a great Batman film. It's a Joker film. And Rebel Moon is not a surrogate to Star Wars. I would rather Dune be the movie that upstands Star Wars. And yes, before the commenters rage at me, I know Dune came first. I know Star Wars is inspired by Dune. But what I'm saying is that in the modern age of blockbusters, I would rather Dune take the place of Star Wars in terms of sci-fi fantasy than Rebel Moon. Because here's the thing with Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon is just 7 samurai. It's just about, oh no, this poor little village is under harm and threat from a bigger, nasty empire. And of course, in case you couldn't tell the parallels, it's clearly just the Asians being threatened by white people. Like we're not dumb, right? So yeah, it's really just, oh no, this village is under threat from the big, evil, nasty empire. We gotta fight back against them. And instead of being a simple story like Seven Samurai, where it's just one concise movie, it's split into two for some godforsaken reason. It's the slow motion. The slow motion makes this movie unbearably long. But yeah, it's split into two movies, and it makes absolutely no sense why this movie split into two. Absolutely no sense. And don't even get me started on the writing. This movie's writing is so bad. It's so bad. There's exposition every 5 minutes. Like, exposition pops up even when you don't think about it. When you don't expect it, boom, just random exposition. And don't even get me started on the flashbacks. The flashbacks of this movie are hands-on the best parts of this movie. This movie legit feels like I'm watching the second part of a story. Like, the movie's called Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. But it feels like I'm watching a second installment. This movie feels like I'm watching a part 2 instead of a part 1. Because like if you look at the flashback scenes could be an entirely different movie on their own. The flashback scenes look so good. The flashback scenes feel like a legit epic movie. A movie I would rather watch. I would rather watch the movie that the flashbacks are based on than the actual movie I'm watching on now. Doesn't make any sense. Like, it actually annoys me how good the flashbacks are. And, you know, yeah, the flashbacks are all exposition, but at the very least, they bother to show you that exposition. I don't know, man. This movie feels like a huge bucket of waste potential. It feels less like Zack Snyder actually wanted to do a Star Wars movie, and more like he just wanted to do Seven Samurais in space, based off Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars meets Westerns meets Seven Samurai, and it's like, it's not good. It's not good. The exposition is bad. I do not care for the characters. I don't think there's a single character in this movie I legit care for. I don't care for the guy. What's his name? The guy, you know, the guy from the Guardians movie. Who? I don't care for the character he plays. I don't care for the main character, even though she has a bit of an interesting story. I don't care for her love interest, which just gets revealed out of nowhere that he loves her. He's like her son love interest. Where the hell did that come from? I do not care for the villains. Why are they just wearing a suit and tie? This is supposed to be in the far future or whatever, or like in an alternate universe. It's like, he just has a suit and tie. No armor, no nothing. Just, oh, I'm the evil businessman. Capitalism. It's like, okay. I do not care for the villain. I do not care for the Asian chick with the lightsaber, who is a clear Jedi ripoff. It's like, there's a lot of stuff in this movie I do not care about. I will give this movie credit though. The effects are good. The effects are actually genuinely good. It just annoys me that they're in a movie like this and not in a better movie that could have been better Star Wars inspired. Underwhelming. For a movie that was meant to dethrone Star Wars, it completely failed at that. And what's hilarious to me is that all these chuds, all these Zack Snyder meat writers are like, oh, this movie's gonna dethrone Star Wars. You guys just wait. You guys just see. You don't even know. This movie's gonna be better than Star Wars. It's gonna start with its old franchise. No. Now that I've seen that the movie has genuinely failed, to all the people saying that this movie's gonna overthrow Star Wars, how do you feel now? How do you feel knowing that this movie sucks and that the part 2 is probably not going to be any better? The whole part 1, all of part 1 feels like a fetch quest. It's just a fetch quest to find character A, character B, character C. Like, I like how we always get like these establishing scenes with the characters and what they're doing. Like, ooh, I'm going to ride this animal. Ooh, I'm going to kill this giant spider. And it's like, okay, I'm joining your team now. Yeah, I'll join your team. Are we getting paid? I'll join your team. It's like, yeah. Don't like it. Don't like Rebel Moon. Bad movie. Nasty. Next up, we have Star Wars Visions. You gotta love this movie. It's not movie, series. I think we're in the series now. Yeah. After Rebel Moon, we're now officially in TV show territory. So these are TV shows I missed. 2 of them are specials. 2 of them are movie specials. So I guess we'll talk about those when we get to those. But yeah. Star Wars Visions, Season 2. It is... I hesitate to say it's better than Season 1. But it does have a lot of good things about it. I do like the fact that, again, Star Wars anime, that once again having this cool marriage between them. I like the fact that we get a different art style every season. And the animation in this season is just gorgeous. Like, if there's one thing I would say this season has over the first one in a heartbeat, it's the animation. It is beautiful. The animation in this season is so freaking good. Especially in Sith and Journey to the Dark Head. Those 2 episodes have the best animation so far. I also really like... what do you call it? I like how it reminds me of Kizazimoto. I know you guys haven't heard of Kizazimoto. Go watch Kizazimoto Generation Fire. It's a Disney show. It's a show on Disney Plus that's made by different African studios. It's just distributed by Disney to give it a bit more marketing. If you want African stories, especially well-animated African stories, go watch Kizazimoto. But back to Visions. I love the different animation styles. There's also this one episode, which I can't tell if it's Ghibli-inspired or if it's just normal anime-inspired, but Journey to the Dark Head is hands down my favorite episode of the season. Not just the season, but the entire series overall. It is so well animated. The fight scenes actually feel like good anime fight scenes, especially between the Jedi and the Sith. You could tell me that this show is canon to Star Wars, to the main Star Wars universe, and I would eat it in a heartbeat. Because like, if you told me that this episode specifically took place during the Jedi and Sith Wars, I would instantly believe you. It's so good. And I love the whole odd couple between this Jedi who's so serious and this monk turned mechanic / pilot girl who just wants to go on adventures. And it's like, it's such a cute relationship between you two. It's so good. I know there's a pod racing episode as well. There's the episode with the girl who has like the force / a singing voice. And there's the episode where we have this alien woman who lost her son to some evil Imperial general, and then she finds him at the end of the episode, and the co-fight scene. It's so good. There's a lot of good episodes in this season. Again, I hesitate to say it's better than Season 1, but I think it's just as good as Season 1. Star Wars Vision Season 2 is definitely worth the watch. I hope they make a Season 3, because I just love seeing the different animation styles and different concepts. The only issue I have, and I think a lot of people have pointed this out, a lot of Star Wars fans, is that the season has too many female protagonists. I never thought this would be a weird complaint, but 8 of the 9 episodes this season feature a female protagonist who's closely connected to the Force and just wants more from life, and they end up either becoming a Sith or a Jedi. That's kind of how the punches roll in this episode. So I don't think the issue is the female characters per se or the female protagonists, but I think the issue lies in more with the fact that this season feels a lot more formulaic than the first season, which is why I hesitate to call it better than the first season. It feels a lot more formulaic by the numbers. Like, all of these episodes are trying to be more deep than the last one. Really, it's like, just tell a fun story, like Journey to the Dark Head. You're gonna be fine. But yeah, it's fun. Star Wars Vision Season 2, definitely give it a watch. In the same vein, we also have Bad Batch. This is also a very fun season. I've already talked at length about the Bad Batch Season 2. Season 3 is currently airing, so for those who are interested, go watch Season 3. I'll review it when it comes out, and of course, I will still call it Clone Wars Season 10. You cannot stop me. This show is the literal spiritual successor to Clone Wars. It's the literal sequel child to Clone Wars. I know Rebels had that title, but clearly, this show has it more. So yeah. Bad Batch season 2. I said half the season is genuinely good. The episodes that feel like Clone Wars are obviously the best ones, like the two-parter premiere, the two-parter mid-season event, the finale, I think the three-part finale, the cross episodes. All of those are really great, and they do feel reminiscent of Clone Wars. And I do like how the trend of if Crosshair is in it, it's gonna be a good episode carries on into season 3. So yeah, I have fun with the Bad Batch. It's not quite there yet. Maybe season 3 will improve my overall opinion of the show, but as such, I will only put it behind maybe Nimona. Yeah. Behind Nimona. I think that's fair enough. Next up, we have The Mandalorian season 3. A lot of people really hate this show, this season of the show. I've seen a lot of people say this is the season that made me quit Star Wars. This is the season that made me give up on it entirely. Blah, blah, blah. I do not like The Mandalorian anymore. So on and so forth. And it's like, man, guys, y'all are missing out. I don't think the season is flawless. I don't think it is by any means the best season of a Star Wars show, let alone like the best, like The Mandalorian overall is the best Star Wars show. But I think it's fun. I think it's genuinely fun. There's a lot of creativity behind it, a lot of good concepts. My only issues with the season is the pacing. That's my main issue, is that this season is just god-awful with the pacing. But overall, the writing of the characters, their arcs and whatever, it's all done really well. I love how cinematic this season feels. A lot of the sets feel bigger. A lot of the effects are a lot better. Overall, it feels like a huge step up in terms of quality production. It's not better than season 2, but I still stand by what I say. It's better than season 1. And I do think it's a huge step up in terms of like how Star Wars should make their shows. Again, a lot more cinematic, like Andor as well. So yeah, I like the Bad Batch. I like the Mandalorian season 3. I think it's got a lot of good stuff going for it. I do not think it's as bad as a lot of people say. I think if anything, it's like yeah. It doesn't waste your time. It tells a very concise story. But at the same time, it very much feels like a weird finale. Even though they've confirmed that they're making a Mandalorian movie and a Mandalorian season 4, it's very weird how ending-ish this season feels like. It's very strange, but you know, you do what you do. I do not have a pause feature on my streaming. Yeah, alright. I don't have a pause feature. I was going to talk about Ahsoka because I forgot to upload the picture of Ahsoka here. So we're just going to pretend this picture of the Mando season 3 is Ahsoka. I'll fix it later. So, wait, maybe I can I fix it now? I don't know. You guys are going to see Captain Phoenix do a bit of interesting editing behind the scenes, BTS. So let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Ahsoka. I figure why not spruce up this this live stream, give you guys something to chew on. All right. The picture's been downloaded. Go back to the tier list. There we go. Ahsoka. Great. For the purposes of this video, I will keep it like this. Maybe it will automatically change at the end. Who knows? Anyway, let's talk about Ahsoka, shall we? This was my most anticipated Star Wars show of the year. This was my most anticipated TV show of the year overall in general. You guys remember how many videos I made anticipating this show, expecting it to be the best thing ever. And in the end, it was fine. It was a fine show. It didn't surpass my expectations. It met most of the criteria I was going for, but not all of them. So I hesitate to say it was one of the best shows of the year, even better than like a lot of the other stuff we've gotten. But all in all, it's fine, all right? What do I like about it? I like how it's a very nice and faithful follow-up to Rebels. I love the casting of this show. I feel like every character was perfectly cast, and they were given the right amount to act with. I know a lot of people don't like the acting. I see that the acting was very intentional, especially when Ahsoka was acting a lot more brooding in the first 5 episodes, and then she's a lot cheery in the last 3. It made sense to me. I love, again, the casting. Eman Esfandi as Ezra, aka Space Jesus, was perfect casting. I want to see him in more projects. I do have a few gripes with the show here and there. I hate the fact that Ezra doesn't get his green lightsaber back. He instead goes back to blue. Why the hell did you do that? Why, Disney? Why do you actually hate green lightsabers? It makes sense to me. I'm not sure how I still feel about Sabine being force sensitive, but I mean, sure, Mandalorian Jedi, why the hell not? It's clearly the route they're going for with her and Grogu. Ahsoka, I think she had a good character development in this season. Oops. Sorry guys, we're having BTS drama. Give me 1 second. Numero uno. Call him Turbo Mr. Snail. He's so numero uno on the rail. You're watching me tinker around with stuff. There we go. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot more to talk about when it comes to Ahsoka, but yeah, I feel like I have a lot more when it comes to talking about Ahsoka overall. Give me 1 second, guys. We're dealing with more BTS nonsense. But BTS, I mean behind the scenes, not the actual band BTS. I'm not a fan. Can't say I'm a fan. Okay, cool. We back online. We back on the grid. So, right, with Ahsoka. I love Shin and Balin. I think those guys are great additions to the Star Wars universe. And to anyone saying Dave Filoni is a hack or he doesn't know how to write or make good shows, just remember that your favorite parts of this show were made by him. Keep that in mind. Of course, the Anakin Ahsoka episode was my favorite. Ahsoka getting to meet Anakin and all that stuff. Great stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like Ahsoka overall, it's a fine show so far. I'm very excited for season 2. I hope they improve in a lot of areas where season 1 failed. I'm seeing we're gonna deal with the Mortis gods again. Very hyped for that. But overall, I feel like we just got a serviceable product. It didn't blow me away. It didn't disappoint me. It was just serviceable. So, I don't know. I'll put it behind Bad Batch. Yeah. The last 2 episodes definitely is where the show fell off. Episode 7 and 8 just were not great. Next up, we have Secret Invasion. I've said this once and I'll say it again. My least favorite Marvel project. My gosh, is this show bad. Especially the last episode. I will never get over the inconsistencies of this show. Why is Rhodey captured before the Skrulls turned evil? How does that chronologically make sense? How does Gaia kill Gravik, despite them both having the same powers and the same densities? Make it make sense. And this isn't even like Superman snapping Zord's neck, because like at the very least they both have super strength, and like, you know, a normal human can crush another human's neck. She punches a hole through Gravik despite them both being super strong and nigh indestructible. Make that make sense. Oh yeah, Agent Ross. They don't even explain what happened to him and the whole Wakanda situation. This show should have been an entire phase. This show should have been an entire phase or saga of the MCU. Before they focused on the multiverse, they should have focused on doing the Secret Invasion stuff. And they didn't, and it annoys me, and yeah, I can't waste more of my breath on this. It's my least favorite MCU project. It is so bad. It's not as bad as Peter and Wendy, let's get that straight, but it is actual garbage. So yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, we have Loki season 2. This show is great. This season is great. This season is everything I wanted season 1 to be, and more. I love how we actually time and universe hop. I love the finale where Loki becomes, you know, the keeper of the timeline. What else do I love about this season? Owen Wilson just being perfect. Wow. It's so good. This season has everything I wanted from season 1 and more. They even brought the jet skis back. It's so perfect. I love this season. I love how it focuses on Loki. Kind of going through this thing of where he actually realizes, hey man, I need friends. What the hell? I can't live in a world without my friends, which is a bit weird for Loki, but the fact that we got here naturally makes a lot of sense to me. I like seeing the different characters and where they are in the different timelines. A lot of people are saying like the show didn't have stakes, or the season didn't have stakes. Like a lot of people were saying that there was not really much of a reason for them to care about the multiverse dying, because you didn't see the people in the different universes, when like that's a lie. We definitely universe hopped around in like episode 3, I think. Not to mention that even as the multiverse was dying in episode 5, we got to see what the characters look like, what the different characters look like in their own lives in the different universes. So we knew what they had to lose if they didn't save the multiverse. What are y'all on? What are y'all smoking? Yeah, Loki season 2, by far one of the best stuff Marvel has made. Don't know if it's better than Guardians 3, but like, oh, that finale hit good. I hope we get to see more of this. Please, Marvel, more of this in the future. Alright, next up we have What If Season 2. As you guys know, What If is a very niche concept and show to me. I love thinking about different scenarios that could occur if a decision in the Marvel movie was changed. Like, what if character A did this? What if character did so and so? What if character changed this and that? Like, what if this one little change happened? How would this affect the MCU? And season 2 carries that energy the same way. I love seeing a universe where Hela becomes a good person or a good guy by the end. It just changes the course of the entire MCU. And really, the only people who are affected are Hela and the guys and Shang-Chi's dad, really, because all the other characters aren't even born yet. It's amazing. What else did I love from season 2? The Christmas episode was obviously hilarious. It's obviously playing off Die Hard. What else do I remember? Oh god, season 2 was just so good. I love the finale where it's like everyone coming together. Kahari's episode was another origin episode that followed the Marvel formula. Of course it was. Captain Carter, Avengers in 1602. My favorite. That is my favorite episode of the entire series so far. The Avengers meet in 1602, or at the very least, like 2018 gets merged with 1602 and both timelines overlap. And it's beautiful. We actually get to see how the Avengers act in a Robin Hood style setting. I love it. Give me more concepts like that. Give me more out-of-world concepts like that, please. It seems like season 3 is also going to deliver on this. You know why? Because season 3 has freaking Gundams. We're going to get Gundams, guys. Yo, I'm so happy. What If season 2, by far, one of my favorite Marvel projects out there. It cannot be overstated how much I love it. And I love how it's also a play on Loki, because Loki was the end of the multiverse, right? Loki showed, like, because the whole thing with Loki season 1 is that, we had the whole secret timeline thing, and that no universe can exist out of the secret timeline. And now, of course, at the end of season 1, the secret timeline gets broken, and now multiple universes can exist. And of course, we get that same situation with What If. Now, because of Loki season 1's ending, because now multiple universes can exist, What If is allowed to exist. Loki is the reason What If exists. I love how Loki season 2 even shows, like, now that Loki has joined all the universes together, the Watcher is like, hey, yo, man, look at this. By the end of the season, we get to see the Yggdrasil tree that Loki has created connecting all the multiverses. I love how What If and Loki are so intertwined without even having to mention it. It's beautiful. Guys, I can't express how much I love both these shows. They're so good. I know it's weird that, like, my favorites are the superhero stuff, but, like, get off my back, man. Get off my back. Invincible. Yeah, man. What can I say? It's great. Only the first half of the season is out, and I just watched episode 5. The show is great. I love how the show is gritty without being dark. I love how it's not grim dark. I love how it's not insulting the superhero genre, much like how The Boys is very much an insult to the superhero genre, and I still refuse to watch The Boys on that merit alone. But Invincible just feels like such a love letter to superheroes, while at the same time being its own gritty thing, where it's like you think one thing is going to happen, but it doesn't. One thing I absolutely love about Invincible, and I haven't read the comics, so this affects me personally, but one thing I absolutely love about Invincible is that you legit do not know what's going to happen next. Like, you may think you know where the plot is going, because you've seen so many superhero shows before, but it will just take a weird swerve. It'll take a weird left turn and just completely blindside you and be like, huh? I did not expect that. But it still kind of meets the same end goal it was going for. It just wanted to give you a bit of a scare on the way there. That's what I love about Invincible. It is so unpredictable. It's one of those shows where I legit do not know what's going to happen next. And it's such a rare treat to get these days. Because, like, let's face it, in terms of things I didn't know what's going to happen next, like Spider-Verse, Invincible, Ahsoka, I feel like those are rare exceptions. Like, those ones I didn't know what was going to happen. So yeah, Invincible definitely carries a lot when it comes to superhero stuff, I feel. Yeah. My favorites are just stuff. I have such a horrible taste in movies and shows. It really says something when my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 favorite projects of the last year superhero stuff kill me. And up next is Rick and Morty season 7. This is definitely a huge improvement when it comes to Rick and Morty stuff. I really love episodes like episode 9, episode 10, and episode 5. They're genuinely great. Any episode of the present is also just ace in the hole. Keith David carries the role of the present. I love him so much. Everything else is like whatever, in the season. It's more or less Rick and Morty, just on a better level. Of course, this is Rick and Morty being written by a different team of people, being voiced by different characters. And I think for a new season, like an all-new season with a fresh coat of paint, it's a huge step up. It's a huge step up from season 6. I was very disappointed in season 6. I did not like season 5. I did not like season 4. 5 was a slight improvement, but I did not like season 6. And yeah, season 7 is definitely a huge improvement in a lot of areas, and it also opens the door for more Rick and Morty stories to be told in the future. My favorite episode from this season, hands down, has got to be Ragnarok. The whole them dying and going to heaven was just a hilarious bit. So, yeah, I love it. I love it. There we go. All right. Next up, Ninjago Dragons Rising. I love Dragons Rising. It is so good, guys. It is so good. This is how you do a soft reboot, right? It's an entirely new show with new characters, but instead of getting rid of the old characters or crapping on the old show, it still gives you the old characters, kind of makes the main characters. But you can see that the show is trying to like slowly phase them out while introducing the new characters for you to love. And I love that. I love how they don't completely disregard the characters. And I love the merge. The merge is so good because it opens up so many new avenues for storytelling, while at the same time getting rid of so many old characters that you don't need to worry about them. It is so good. Guys, please take notes. This is how you do a soft reboot. I cannot stress enough how much I love Ninjago Dragons Rising, simply because it understood the assignment of how to do a soft reboot, and it made Ninjago good again. It revitalized the franchise and breathed some new life into it. I mean, Ninjago was never dead to me. Like, Ninjago never needed saving. And it's so weird to me when I see people being like, oh my gosh, this movie saved Ninjago. It's like, no, it didn't. You're just overreacting. But like, when I say breathe new life, it breathed new life. It does introduce a lot of weird retcons and inconsistency from the old series. I hope they fix these going forward. Of course, Kai still has his own dedicated season, and the character development he gets here is not development of Wilfilm Kai, it's development of Wildbrain Kai. They're not the same. For those who know what I'm talking about, I made a whole video on Kai. Dragons Rising is definitely an improvement of his character, so I hope season 2 is an improvement of his character even more, rather than just making him Wildfire's dad in this case. Actually, speaking of which, I really do hope that the theory of Wildfire being Kai and Skylar's future daughter really pays off. It makes too much sense not to be the case. And it would make sense why her power is heat and not fire, because it's a mix of both. But I don't like the idea of her power just being heat. But yeah, I think Ninjago is better than Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is obviously the better movie, but I enjoyed Ninjago so much because it's such a good soft reboot. Please, future movies and shows, take notes. Attack on Titan. Don't even really say anything about this. Actually, I kind of do. I promised you all a review on Attack on Titan, and I did not deliver. That is my bad. I need to really review this series. I need to review all of season 4, and I need to talk about how beautiful this series is. Spoiler alert, guys, I love the ending. I'm one of the few people who genuinely love the ending. And yes, I read the manga. So I don't say, oh, it's because the anime patched the ending. No, I read the manga. So I knew everything I knew going into this. And I love the ending. It's such a beautiful show with a beautiful message and a beautiful ending. Guys, I cannot emphasize how much I love Attack on Titan. It is hands down, this entire show, seasons 1 to 4, the finale, movie, all stuff, my favorite show of all time. This and Avatar The Last Airbender are competing for first place. That's how crazy it is. I love the world of Attack on Titan. It's not even funny anymore. It is genuinely good. It is genuinely beautiful. I love how it has different takes on optimism, nihilism, and realism, and how the story doesn't end with a fully happy ending, even though it kind of does. There's so much I want to talk about Attack on Titan. I want to get into specifics here, but at the same time, I feel like it's not right for me to do so. I feel like I need to dedicate my own special video to Attack on Titan. But yeah, beautiful end to a beautiful show. One of my favorite shows of all time. It only comes in second to Spider-Verse because like the finale movie, part 3, the special and the finale movie are my favorite installments of Attack on Titan. That I would give the award maybe to like season 4, part 2, or maybe like season 3 overall. But like I think the finale movie, it has a few issues it needs to tackle, but whereas like Spider-Verse is just like fully perfect, but these two just the kings of it, 100%. Alright, my adventures with Superman. Oh yeah, Rising of Shield Hero. Shield Hero season 3 came out this year. I haven't watched it yet. My adventures with Superman. Fun show. The best thing I can say about this show is the relationship between Superman and Lois. I love how there's very few misunderstandings between the two. You guys have no idea how much I hate misunderstandings, especially when it comes to romance. So I love how there's few misunderstandings between the two. I love how they talk through their problems. I love how they become a couple by the end of the season. And now, because they're a couple, it opens the door for more development in their relationship going forward. I am especially interested to see how Carly's going to talk to her dad. How Lois is going to talk to her dad about Superman. My biggest issue, though, is that we waited so long for the reveal of who Lois' dad is going to be. Well, like we all know, this show came out a few weeks after Superman and Lois season 4 aired. So it's like, we already know Lois' dad is part of the military. And like, they're building up, oh, who is Lois' dad? Oh, who's the military guy after Superman? It's like, it's obvious. We all know who it is. Why are you acting like it's a big reveal? Also, is it just me or does Superman seem weirdly underpowered in this show? In both this show and Superman and Lois, Superman is just like scarily underpowered. Like, this is not the comic character at all. I understand that this is a Superman who's just starting out, but even a Superman who's just starting out, he should have a level of indestructibility. He's just getting pummeled by everything. So yeah, Still on the Lois. I think it's a fun show, very flawed though, but my gosh, is it hella charming. I love this show, just for the characters alone. Next up, we have iCarly, which is the reboot, the iCarly reboot revival. This show just got cancelled, so we're not getting a season 4. Thank goodness, I don't need to watch more of it. And as far as sitcoms go, it's alright. It's funny enough. I'm glad they got rid of the laugh track, but this show really just exists to capitalize and milk nostalgia. That's really all it is. I love the fact that we get to see a lot of characters back, like Spencer and Freddy, and I like how they grow. But this show really tries its best to be more adult than the original iCarly, where like, it's not working for you. Just be you, and that's all you need to be. Why be new when you can be you? So, yeah, I don't know. To me, the new iCarly revival show, it's a normal cash grab, money-hungry company show, but it's like, man, it's whatever. I really don't care. Like I said, I'm glad the show is over. I like how they at least try to go a bit into depth into season 3, but it's not enough to say on the show. Sorry. It goes to bottom mid. I don't think it's underwhelming because, well, I never expected anything of it to begin with. All right, now we have the 2 specials that came out. We have the Bad Guys Holiday Special, which is not great. I do like how they very explicitly say that this is a prequel to the Bad Guys movie, but my gosh, is there a lot wrong with this special. For one, they couldn't even get the voice cast of the movie back, and it is glaringly obvious. You think Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate is bad? Try watching this special. They don't get a single cast member back. On top of that, the animation is just so choppy. This is what happens when all of you mother truckers out there who say, oh, 3D CGI should die, oh, we only want stylized movies now. Please DreamWorks, please Pixar, please Disney, give us only stylized movies. This is what happens when you over rely on stylized animation. Because when you need to make it for a cheaper version, like a special or TV show, you get cheap products. You get Wish. You get Bad Guys. The stylization, the over-reliance on stylization is actually a detriment to the industry because stylized is expensive, guys, and that's how you get choppy animation like this. Yeah, it's also not surprising the script really has nothing to say, interesting to say, but I will say, my favorite character, Tiffany Fluffit, is back. So that's the one good thing I'll say about it. But yeah, Bad Guys Holiday Special, not great. It is astonishingly underwhelming. It's not bad. It's not the worst thing to have exist. Again, there's some fun stuff here and there. I like how the bad guys do get a bit of weird karma at the end. Like, they don't outright make it with what they were gonna do, but like, yeah, it's not great. It is not great. And then of course we have Once Upon a Studio. Now this is a true 100th anniversary special. This is a true 100th anniversary celebration of a company. This Once Upon a Studio short, is so good, guys. I love how they mix the different versions of animation together. 2D, 3D, the old 2D style. I love how they sing Wish Upon a Star at the end. I love that one little shot of Mickey looking up at the picture of Walt Disney. He's like, hey, yo, man, I hope I made you proud. It legit looks like a son looking up at his father, just wanting to be proud of the legacy he left behind. Oh, being proud of the legacy his father left behind. It is so good, guys. It is genuinely so good. Once Upon a Studio is great. It is a perfect love letter to not only the legacy of Disney, but also to Walt Disney, the man who created everything and, created so many childhoods for so many people. This is how you celebrate 100 years. How the hell did this come out at the same time Wish did? Please make it make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Once Upon a Studio is such a love letter to Disney and its legacy that actually Wish is more insulting to me now the more I think about it. It is genuinely insulting. Not as bad as Napoleon though, but still. So yeah, Once Upon a Studio, it's good. Please go watch it. The short is only like 10 minutes long. You will literally not be missing out on any time. So yeah, Once Upon a Studio is genuinely one of the best things Disney has made in a while. And I am shocked it's as good as it is. This is how you celebrate 100 years. And I was genuinely touched by it. I'll put it behind Oppenheimer because Oppenheimer, it kept me engaged for 3 hours. I didn't have to really be engaged when it came to Once Upon a Studio. So yeah, this is my full tier list ranking of all the movies and shows that came out in 2023. This is a very disgusting list. I am going to get called out so hard on my tastes in cinema. It's actually not even funny. So yeah, we have my favorite movie of the whole year, Spider-Verse, one of my favorite movies ever. Attack on Titan, one of my favorite TV shows ever. Second, only to Avatar, or competing with Avatar in first place, keep that in mind. Invincible, a show that revitalizes the superhero genre. What If, a niche topic I love. Guardians, which again should be a very good sign to Marvel to move forward. Loki Season 2, a good sign for Marvel to move forward. Ninjago, this is how you do a soft reboot, right? Oppenheimer, the most movie to come out this year. Once Upon a Studio, how you do a 100th anniversary special, right? Rick and Morty, huge step up over the last 2 seasons, over the last 3 seasons actually. Barbie, a fun movie that if you don't think about it much, you're gonna like it more, honestly. Asteroid City, a fun movie that has its problems here and there. Mostly due to, I want to say, writing wise. Like, I feel like there's some things this movie should have outright told you. I get it's a play within a play, but like, leave me alone, child. A play within a movie, actually. Star Wars Visions is just so much fun. Superman and Lois, the characters are charming. Nimona, great movie, held back by only a few animation errors and the message and Nimona as a character. Why do people love this little gremlin so much? Bad Batch is good, just held back by a few bad episodes. Ahsoka is good, it just underdelivered in some aspects, and the last 2 episodes. Elemental is charming and cute. TMNT is great for what it is. Boy and the Heron, moving on. Mandalorian season 3 is good for what it is. I understand why some people are feeling let down, but like, I really don't think that's the worst piece of Star Wars out there, guys. Like, grow up. Migration is a fun time killer. It knows it's not worth your time, so if you want to put this on for your kids in the background, please do it. But honestly, just watch Finding Nemo, guys. It's not that hard. Just watch Finding Nemo. Trolls 3 is surprisingly fun. Mario, if you're a fan of the movie, more respect to you if you like put in one of the first 2 tiers. Ruby Gilman, again, I don't think it's as bad as people say. Surprisingly fun for what it is. Aquaman is also surprisingly fun. Blue Beetle is surprisingly fun. Shazam just barely made it here. Leo has no reason to be animated. I stand by that. The Marvels is a dumb movie with a dumb plot, with a dumb script, but the last third is actually genuinely fun. Cocaine Bear, needed more Cocaine Bear. iCarly, no reason for this show to exist, but all in all, I mean, it's not the worst comedy out there. It's not the worst waste of your time. Rebel Moon, this thing tried so hard to be the next Star Wars and utterly failed, and I will forever relish in its failure. Wish, for 100th anniversary movie, you let yourself down, man. The amount of references this movie has is just disgusting. Napoleon, you let me down, man. You let me down. I am so tempted to put you down here, but the last act is actually good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's some redeeming qualities about these movies, unlike these ones which just have no redeeming qualities. The Bad Guys, again, has some redeeming qualities. Ant-Man only has King. The Flash only has the first act, which is also kind of dumb in itself. Secret Invasion is just bad. Worst Marvel, worst MCU project. Peter Pan and Wendy, just bad. Live action remake, I don't know what you expect. And 65 is hands down the worst movie of the year. So Spider-Verse is my personal favorite movie of the year, no question about it. And 65 is hands down my least favorite of the year. So guys, tell me what you think of this tier list. Is there anything I should change? How bad is my taste? Do you think I should move Napoleon and the Bad Guys down here? Because honestly, like, there will not really be much lost if I move them down here. Maybe even Wish as well. But then I only leave like Rebel Moon, so I think, yeah. And tell me, what's your personal favorite movie of the year? What movie really rocked you to your core and said, yeah, I really love that. Hey, that was a good movie. Yo, I really appreciated that. I really love that. And, you know, this is something for the generations to remember. And be honest with me, who really deserved the Oscar? Spider-Man, or Boy and the Heron? And if there's anything I missed about Boy and the Heron, please let me know. I'm not trying to be ignorant for the sake of being ignorant or being a Western fool or being a Western loyalist. I just want to know, what the hell did y'all see in this movie? That's all I'm going to say. Thank you so very much for watching, guys. This is probably going to be my last video for a while because I'm back to the grind. But I do thank you for watching if you did watch this video. And yeah. No, go back. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like if you like, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to be part of the team. And who knows when we'll see each other for our next movie review. I would love to see you guys soon. And yes, I am planning an Attack on Titan video. When I get the time, I'm going to make it the best Attack on Titan review ever. But without further ado, thank you so very much for watching. I'll be Captain Phoenix. And with that, I'll see you in the universe. Goodbye, my Rangers. Let's do it. Also, if there's any other movie or show you feel like I should watch, especially from last year, that I should check out and add to this list, let me know. I would not be opposed to that. I think it removed Ahsoka, didn't it? Yeah, it removed Ahsoka. It's okay. We'll fix it in post. All right then. See you all guys later. Thank you so very much for watching. I like doing these live streams. Next time I should do a game. Honestly, I've installed Fortnite on this new PC of mine, so who knows? Would like to give Fortnite a try. And Q&As, guys. I want to do some Q&As with y'all. Don't let me down. I don't want to let you down. So please attend the next live stream and let me know what burning questions you have for me. And yeah, we'll see what other projects I work on and what things I can impress y'all with. Goodbye, Mary.